Welcome to This is Nigeria, Unlocking Her Potentials. Now, this is a program that showcases Nigeria's investment and development opportunities across the 36 states of Nigeria. However, the turn of events in the country has made this edition very pertinent. We need to discuss the state of the nation. No nation thrives with violence and trouble everywhere. It would be impracticable to even invest in such a country. I have two erudite minds in the studio with me to discuss on the state of the nation. And first is Professor Chris Nwakobia, the convener of Country Firsts. You're welcome to the program.
My pleasure to be here.
I hope we put the country first.
Profoundly.
All right, and seated next to him is Ernest Osogbue, a public affairs analyst and a veteran broadcaster. You're welcome to the program.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Okay. And I'm still my humble self, Mayowa Oluwabiyi. Don't go away, stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Nigeria, Unlocking Her Potential. And the conversation is still on the state of the nation. Let me start with you, Professor Chris Nwakobia. People are expressing concern over development in Nigeria. From the north, south, east, west, things are happening like it's a concerted effort or a concerted bombardment of Nigeria by evil from different parts of the country. What is your take? What is your assessment of this development?
No, I'm troubled like every other Nigerian. I'm worried. Sadly, this wasn't what we expected when we, and I say we advisedly, in 2015, I headed one of the arms of the Buhari campaign. I was the DG Change Ambassadors of Nigeria. And when we campaigned, we told Nigerians that we were going to outperform Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's security credentials. Yeah. That we were going to secure Nigeria because we were presenting to the people a retired general. We told Nigerians that we were going to fight corruption, we were going to create jobs. Sadly, if you look through the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chapter 2 of the Constitution primarily states that the responsibility of government is the security of lives and property. And that's the basic responsibility of government. Tragically, as you and I talk today, crisis, conflict, and insecurity has seemingly been democratized. And I say this advisedly. It has moved from insurgency in the northeast to banditry and conflict in the north central. It has moved from banditry and conflict in the north central to banditry and kidnapping in the northwest. And as you and I talk, it's either bandits and rustlers and headers are at conflict with farmers and people in the southwest. We have the IPOB and government agencies, non-state actors at war with state actors in the southeast. And then we have conflict in the south-south. And then sadly we have a non-state actor like Ibobo holding sway in the southwest. That's how tragic it has become. And so I think that anyone who truly cares about Nigeria will be troubled. Anyone who truly cares about Nigeria will be worried. And that's why everyone who, statesmen, activists, politicians who are not subsumed by partisan obscurantism are saying that the time to discuss our security challenges now, and that's what I think.
Now let me come to you, Ernest. What is your assessment of the current status of Nigeria?
I am scared. That's the simple way I can put it. I am very, very scared. I have children in schools in different parts of the country, in boarding houses, and every day you hear of children being taken forcefully by criminals. They call them bandits, and you begin to wonder, you begin to worry, is it going to get to that? So it's a big worry that when in 2015, one of the selling points of our current president was that he's a tough retired general from the Nigerian army, and that the security challenges we're having, just mutating then, will be a thing of the past if he were to take over governance. And so there was this trooping by most of us, myself included, that it's important that we bring somebody with a tough stance who understands security issues, who will stamp out those challenges that were rearing their heads as at that time. So it's a big surprise and challenge right now that we're in the midst of what we are in the midst of. To be honest with you, I'm just trying to be as calm as I can, but this is difficult on a daily basis. Before I go to bed, the first thing you're thinking, I hope I'm not going to hear in the news. Should I withdraw my children from school, keep them in the house, or bring them back to Abuja to school here just very near me? They go out and come back in the evening? I don't know. So this is a big challenge. I don't know, maybe we have points to discuss and look at the reasons for all of this. Because our leaders, over the years, there's been a failure, so to speak, in certain areas. And so there are the issues of ethnicity, religion, and all these primordial values that come to rear their heads and impact governance and create so many problems for us. We need to talk about it. We need to come to a confluence where what are the issues that we need to discuss. But Mayowa, in a nutshell, I will repeat it, I am scared.
All right, let me put you on pause and come back to Professor Chris Nwakobia. Prof, what solutions can you proffer? What do we need to do to arrest the situation?
You have clearly come to my passion. Rather than cry wolf, rather than cry blue mother, rather than exacerbate and hype the conflict and the crisis, I would think that the time has come for government to declare a state of emergency on insecurity. That's point number one. And then two, declare a state of emergency on education. Three, declare a state of emergency on health care. And then four, fundamentally, think about foisting and increasing, if you like, brotherhood across the state. All over the world, when you have this kind of conflict, what you do primarily is to engage the disparate tendencies that cause trouble across our country. I'll give you a quick instance. When Madiba came out of prison after about 27 years, what he talked about was the need for peace, equity, inclusiveness, and a sense of justice. Our country is troubled from every side. From the 60s, we lost a sense of value as a nation. Deeply, we undermined the reason to send our young ones to school. No educated nation would pride in villainy, banditry, bloodletting. We must understand that an educated space, where a state where education is of primacy, would have people who value blood, who value our common humanity, who value the primacy of human lives. But sadly, because a young boy who is enlisted into the Boko Haram does not see our common humanity, because the bandit who kidnaps for ransom does not see our common humanity, because the political operator who sees politics as a means to an end rather than for the betterment of the society does not see our common humanity. And indeed, like Madiba, Nelson Mandela would say when he came out of prison, that the day Nigeria rises, that day Africa will rise. And that day, the black man will be treated with dignity and respect. So I think that Nigeria owes Africa, the black man, and our common humanity a great responsibility. We must do the right things.
We must rise above this.
And the time to do that is now.
And let me come to you, Ernest. What solution would you proffer to this development? What for you is immediate that we need to do for now?
I don't know about the immediate things we need to do, because this problem has festered over the years. The first thing you have to notice is that, for me, I don't think we have ever had a patriotic leader who sits there and sees Nigeria as my crucible and is holding it and caring for that. What you understand is, every time we have leaders, they are owned by a section of the country. What we have now started with that. People owning the president, and the president tacitly giving rein to that. And before you know it, we're in this conflagration. We've never had it. When you talk about Chairman Mao, Jomo Kenyatta, when you talk about this man, and of course Joseph Tito Broz of the defunct Yugoslavia, these are men who stood and brought different ethnicities together.
Statesman.
That nobody remembers where you come from. You just see yourself, your first tribe is, I am in Nigeria. Your Yoruba, Igbo, or Efik, or whether Miango, or whatever you are, is subsumed in the Nigerian nationality. So we have a fractured nation as far as ethnicity is concerned. So we need to interrogate these things, and we need to find a way for a people's leader to emerge who understands the feelings of Nigerians, not the ones shielded by security aides and appointed aides, and when we speak and we challenge him or we criticize him, they are coming to shout at us and send security men after us to detain us. We have a right to criticize our leaders. They are there for us. So I don't know about short-term or immediate solutions to it. But I think from some of these things I've said, if we begin to implement them and begin to find a way to find this balance of a leader who emerges from the people, not from the political class, who force people down our throats and we must vote for this or that, and at the end of the day, we go home grumbling. We need the leader that emerges from the Nigerian people, who we trust and who relate with us one-on-one.
Okay, Prof. You said you have 3 sectors of the economy that you would like to declare a state of emergency. Which one right now is paramount to declare a state as a solution to what is going on, to declare a state of emergency?
Security first. But let me say clearly that I understand soundly the sentiments of my brother. Troubled, yes we are. Harassed and harangued, yes we are. Scared, yes we are. Have we grown leaders who would grow beyond ethnicity, nepotism, and cronyism to statesmen and patriots? No. Have we grown leaders who will put country first? Sadly, no. Can we grow leaders who will put country first? Yes, we can. And that's where my passion, that's where, it's on that pillar that my passion devolves. I think that it is not too late to do what is right. And that is why I tell people that oftentimes when I critique government, I would prefer solutions to our problems. State of emergency on education, yes, but primarily state of emergency on national security. Then you ask me, how must we go about building trust across our country? Because that's genuinely important. It's been destroyed by the failure of leadership. The popular American criminologist Holmes would say that a society prepares a crime, and that was his argument. The criminal commits it. And that's what happens in the recruitment of young boys and young girls to villainy, banditry, and insurgency. If you go to the Northeast, you see young boys who are frustrated, angry with the country and angry with the society. And so what do? No food on their table, no certificates, no home, and they decide to wreak havoc. That's what we have. The nation, my late father would say that the nation, we have a country that has consistently sown wild bean. And what you harvest is rashes. That's what you have. And our country must move beyond ethnicity, religion, cronyism, and nepotism to the broader concerns of every Nigerian. What do we want? Mayo, we want a country where love, understanding, justice, equity, and fairness pervades. We want a nation that works. This was a nation blessed by God. And I'm using the word advisably was, because over the years we have had rampaging buccaneers who have feasted on our collective patrimony. Our wealth is in their hands. We've had leaders who do not care about a Kaite in the South-South, who do not care about Kemi in the Southwest, who do not care about Amina in the North. All they care about is me, myself, and I. That's a tragedy with the Nigerian state. And so when you have a bandit who doesn't care about life, who must kidnap for ransom to survive, and he looks you in the face and says, I don't care what you do. If you don't give me the ransom, I'll kill my victim. And that's because successive leadership has failed the Nigerian people. So the time to call a spade by its name is now. We must say to Mr. President, the time to come down from your high horse and understand that Nigeria is a nation under fire is now. The time to understand that when you took the oath of office, you rose beyond the Fulani president of Nigeria to a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, whose constituency is chiefly the green-white-green. The time has come for him to understand that and treat Nigeria as his immediate constituency. And the time has come for those who are around him, spokespersons of Mr. President, to understand. Because largely, I had a heartbreak when I listened to one of the spokespersons say that the media is reporting too much of the killings in Nigeria. And you ask me, where lies his empathy? Where lies his sympathy? Has he forgotten what John Donne said? They were caught together. Yes. We belong together. Has he forgotten what the great poets will say? They were caught by a single network of mutuality, held by a gap of oneness. What affects one directly affects the other indirectly. Does he expect the media to keep quiet when Nigerians are being slain by the day? I think that the time has come for us to understand that when this nation decides to say the truth, speak the truth, and live by the truth, then our battle against the crisis and the conflict and the enemy that this state has become will gladly be achieved.
All right, we'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. This is Nigeria. We'll continue. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is Nigeria, unlocking her potentials, and the conversation is on the state of the nation. We've been discussing banditry, kidnapping, trouble in the north, southwest of Nigeria. And we've been discussing with very erudite minds. So let me come back to you, Ernest. We have discussed the pros and the cons. We have proffered solutions. What can you say to Nigerians who are angry, especially the youth, that are restless, and the government that is in power, and to the bandits who are oppressing and causing all this chaos?
See, Mayo, when you are targeting to build a nation that is egalitarian, that satisfies the needs of the average citizen, I think the leadership need to understand that you need to bend over backwards. Sure. It is not a time to be rigid and stiff and say this man offended, he must do this, he must. Sometimes you need to be diplomatic. We want our country back. And when I look at the Nigerian youth, I want to give an example with myself. You're very much aware. I was in the United States of America, but I wasn't satisfied. I know that the US is better than Nigeria, but the US was built by Americans. That's why some people get tortured in America, because you were not part of those, the few who built it. I jumped on a plane back to Nigeria. Why is that? Because I have hope for a greater Nigeria tomorrow. And I want to contribute my share to building of the nation. So I want to, the every Nigerian youth to understand that if Nigeria, not only me, I've been doing research and so many Nigerians, I have friends, they are telling me in the next 2 years, I'm coming back home. despite the negative news coming out of Nigeria. Nigerians have hope, they believe. And I want the Nigerian youth to understand that, look, there is a greater tomorrow. This phase of our life will pass away. If you read the history of great nations of the world, they pass through certain stages, even worse than Nigeria. So Nigerian youth need to have hope. We need a little bit of patience. I think it's important. Patience is a lacking commodity in our country, and you can understand that because people have been marginalized, cheated, deprived, been in hunger and deprivation for such a long time, and they can't wait anymore. Sure. But if we do that, if we keep striking, if we set our country ablaze and burn it to ashes, where do you want to go? To be a refugee in foreign lands? We have a right to be angry, but let's channel that anger positively rather than negatively. Let's grow, let's hope and believe in that greater Nigeria of tomorrow and start working towards it. And I believe that in the very near future, it can be achieved.
Let me come to you, Prof. Can you speak to the disenfranchised youths of Nigeria? I want you to speak to leadership. I want you to speak to the youths. And I want you to speak to people who are engaged in banditry and kidnapping. Some words of assurance or anything at all. Just, say something.
Let me say clearly that a troubled nation, a disenfranchised people, a troubled people, a harassed and a harangued people would naturally vent their anger. But how best to vent the anger is what oftentimes is misunderstood and perhaps misplaced. We agree that successive leadership has failed to actualize the promises of democracy. We agree that leadership may not understand your pain. We agree that leaders may have been egocentric and self-centered. We also agree that at certain points we may have all collectively made mistakes, and that is why our country is troubled. But take a cue from Switzerland. After 6 civil wars, they were able to address the fundamental issues of leadership and nationhood. Take a cue from South Africa. After 27 years in prison, Madiba came out and told South Africans that they must build a country where values of brotherhood, togetherness, and oneness is of primacy. I speak to you, my beloved countrymen and compatriots. I speak to you, our leaders, and those who, by reason or perhaps effort, happenstance, or accident, are in place of leadership. The time to save this country from the precipice is now. The time to come down from your high horse and engage with the young people of this country and forge and foist a new ideal of oneness and brotherhood is now. And to our young boys and young girls, our brothers, and those we call the NSAS generation, the time to do what is proper, right, and right is now. It was the sage Obafemi Awolowo who said that hope is the last milk in the human breast. I believe that the time to believe in yourselves is now. I believe also that the time to nudge leadership to prize your values properly is now. You do not burn down the streets. You do not kill yourselves because you are angry with the state. For if you kill them, who would you relate with? It was my mentor, Martin Luther King Jr., who said that we're all held together by a single garment of oneness, tied together by a single web of togetherness. What affects one directly affects the other indirectly. I believe in Nigeria. I know that Nigeria is one of the greatest crafts ever created by God. We must show this country the way to the promise that democracy holds. Because save and except that is done, this jangling discord of ethnicity, of religious, of trouble and turmoil will continue. But I believe, like I said, hope is the last milk in the human breast. We must work together, indiscriminate of whether you are of the APC or the PDP, to build a country that will make posterity indeed proud. And where there is a will, there's a way. If we work at it, we can. Yes, we can.
Well, those are golden words you have spoken to the youth of Nigeria. And I believe that the youth of Nigeria are one of the most positive I've ever seen in any part of the world. They just need a little nudge, a little encouragement from governments, from individuals. These are trying times for all of us. There's a lot of mental depression on people when so much trouble and evil and economic problems are going on. So we need to speak to ourselves, be our brother's keepers. Watch out for your neighbor if you have not seen them in a while. Reach out to them. Let's build this country together. And I believe that Nigeria can still rise above this. And this too shall pass. Thank you very much, Ernest Osogbue, for coming on to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And thank you very much, Professor Chris Nwakobia, the convener of Country First.
My pleasure to be here.
It's been wonderful talking to you guys. Now, my name is Mayowa Oluwabiyi, and thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria.